Solving two-step equations. When solving equations, we isolate the variable on one side of the equal sign. We simplify on the left-hand side by combining any like terms or distributing. We simplify on the right-hand side by combining any like terms or distributing. Then we go on the side with the variable and start to get rid of terms. We will get rid of anything that's added to or subtracted from the variable term first. Save division until last. Remember to get rid of terms, perform the reverse operation on both sides of the equal sign. Think of the variable as a package that we would like to open. So in the following equation, 3x minus 5 equals 7. X is the package that we would like to open. The closest thing to the package might be the wrapping paper. So the 3 is like the wrapping paper. The 5 is like a ribbon, so something a little farther away, but still on the package. So if we're solving, it's like unwrapping a package. So you go to the package and would take off the ribbon first. And then last, we would take off the paper. So maybe that will help you remember the steps. I have a couple of equations here for us to solve that are two-step problems. So here is our first one. There's no simplifying on either side. So we go on the side with the x, and we're going to take off anything added or subtracted to the x first. So 5 is subtracted. We're going to add a 5 to both sides. Clean up. It says 3x. Bring your equal straight down. 7 plus 5 is 12. Go back on the side with your variable. And then now it's a one-step equation. You are ready to divide. So we divide by the sign of the coefficient. Gives us x equals 4. Let's try one more. All right, so over here, this time we want to isolate y. We go on that side, and the 5 is added to the y term. So we need to take it away. This will clean up. So we have negative 2y equals, what's your signs here? Like signs, add and keep the sign. Use your calculator if you have trouble. Go on the side with the y, and you have to divide by the sign of the coefficient. So we're going to divide by a negative 2. And this gives us y equals positive, because we have division with two negatives, positive 6. Let's have a look at one more problem. I didn't want you to think that they always turn out even. So for this equation, we want to isolate the x. There's no simplifying to do, so we're ready to solve. We start on the side with the x, and we should take off the 6 first. It's subtracted from the x. So we need to add 6 to both sides. Clean up. So we have 4x equals 14. Go back on the side with the x, and you're going to divide by 4. Now, this doesn't divide evenly, 14 over 4, so you want to just reduce it. It has a common factor of 2 because they're both even, so you can divide both by 2. 2 into 14 will go 7 times, and 2 into 4 will go 2 times. You can also do that if you practice and learn how on your calculator. Now, I want you to pause the video and try the following problem. All right, I hope you worked it. And now let's see how it should be. So we go on the side with the x, and we'll take off anything added or subtracted. So the 2 needs to come off. We'll subtract a 2 from both sides because it was added. Then we'll clean up. We're left with 5x on the left. Bring your equals straight down. 15 on the right. Go back on the side with the x, and you're going to divide by 5. This one is going to divide out even. Gives you x equals 3. I think this problem is a little tricky for students, so I wanted to be sure to do one. You want to go on the side with your variable. So we're over here, and we need to take off this 7. You have to remember that the 7 sign is in front of it. So this is a positive 7. We are going to subtract 7 to make it cancel. The sign after it goes with a y, and it had nothing to do with the 7. So that leaves us negative y equals 2. Remember, you're not allowed to leave an equation like this. This is really negative 1 in front of the y. And so now we'll divide. It's multiplied by y, so we'll divide by negative 1. And that gives us y equals negative 2. So it's okay if this is turned around. Just the 7 is what we want to get rid of, and its sign is in front of it. Right, the next equation we have has some simplifying. See, it looks a lot longer. So we'll simplify. We're going to stay on the left-hand side. That's all we're going to look at. And we need to take the parentheses off. So we are going to distribute to get the parentheses off. And you're taking the negative with your 2. So we get negative 2x minus 10. Parentheses comes off. Bring your equals straight down. Now we'll go to the other side and we'll stay over there. These are like terms. They're also like signs, so they're going to add and keep the sign. Now it's a two-step solve problem. So go back on the side with the x, and we'll take off the 10. It's added, so we're going to, it's subtracted, so we're going to add. That leaves us negative 2x equals different signs here. So subtract sign of the larger, or use your calculator. Go back on the side with the x, and you need to divide by a negative 2. We'll clean up. This leaves us x equals a, whoops, Mrs. H. You have to divide both sides by the same thing, by a negative 2. And anything divided by itself goes one time. We're going to look at a couple of formula solving problems. So for the first one, we want to solve for t. So that is the variable that we're going to isolate. Remember, go on the side with the t. Look around the t. Notice the g is multiplied by the t. They're side by side. So we'll deal with that last. The k is added to the t. So we're going to subtract it to get rid of the k. Right. On this side, put it after. It's not going to be like terms, so you don't want it right under. But don't put it in the front. It can cause a sign error. So we'll rewrite it. So we have v minus k equals gt. Now go back on the side with the t. You want the t, you don't want the g. They're multiplied. To reverse a multiplication, you divide by the one you don't want. So we don't want g. Do the same thing over here. And this one is going to leave you a fraction, and that's okay. As long as t is isolated, that was our goal. Right. Pause the video and try the following problem. Solve for x, y equals mx plus b. Now we'll have a look and you can check yourself. So we want to get x by itself. We go on that side. Here's your x. It's multiplied by the m because they're side by side. right? Something else on that side is the b. b is added to the x. So b needs to come off first. It's added, so you need to take it away. Over here, we're going to put it after. We'll rewrite it. So we have y minus b equals mx. This one canceled. Right? And we're still trying to get x by itself. So go on the side with the x, which is here. It's multiplied by the m. So to get rid of the m, you will divide. That will make it cancel. Same thing on both sides. And that isolates your x. Just leave the other side as a fraction. It is fine like that.